It's the National Football League on EA Sports. And if it's in the game, it's in the game. It's the boys and the hooks on Monday Night Prime Time. We are in the Pacific Northwest as we get set for football. Another finger in the Senior District of Seattle. This crowd, as we've come to expect in recent years, as long as the when they get anything left, ready for football as the Seahawks get set to do battle with the Dallas Cowboys. Brandon Gardner alongside Charles Davis and CD. You look at the Cowboys in this matchup. It's a relatively balanced offense. The next gen starts kind of bear that out. What do you think they'll be looking to do in this one? I think it'll be exactly what you just talked about. They'll want to be balanced on offense, which means to them, they'll want everyone involved. See if they can get some one-on-ones in the passing game. Maybe identify some situation where it can swing the ball to the space. Even if it's a spot where they just want to play some old-fashioned power football. As one of the most successful coaches in the league told us once, the definition of balanced offense, that means you can do what you want when you want to. You don't necessarily just running it 50% of the time and throwing it the same percentage. It's a genius to get this one. And hopefully go from Seattle. In terms of the power for his end zone. And typical to make the 21-yard line, so a net negative going 4 yards. Time for Dak Prescott and the Dallas offense to go to work. Prescott, of course, the former fourth-round pick in 2016 out of Mississippi State. It's been a lot of fun watching him advance in his career, and many people question his ability to throw the football coming out of Mississippi State. He's conclusively answered that question. In addition, a very smart runner and an even better leader. First down, Prescott. And this one quickly along. And he's got just the 30 before he's hit and dropped. The next teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and you ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game. I was just going to ask you, he wasn't the primary target. And he's so good at that, isn't he? I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary goal. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the person was going to come from. He said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did. 2 yards on the pickup. It'll be 2nd and 8. No score after 9 on EA Sports. Start of the second quarter, and it's the Cowboys in possession. As they got a second and 4th cover. Prescott. And get the offense. Stop the clock here with just under a minute to play and half number 1. That pass just a little bit off. It looks like maybe we tried to force it in there. Game speed, always different, no matter what you do in practice. Can't simulate it, right? So your decision making, everything has to be a little bit different. Sometimes they do until you adjust. And he will have the Cowboys first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Now we'll look at Smith. Not sure exactly what happened, but he's still down. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. Could we get a touchdown in this first half after all? It's 1st and 10. Preston from the game. As gets Ezekiel Oliver. Now he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. And again, it's Preston. Slips around his left. Preston down on the slope. He has the first as well. The Cowboys going to use their second timeout now, as it will come with 36 ticks to go in half number one. On 1st and 10, Prescott. It's in the hands of Gilmore over the middle. 4 yards on the catch there, brings up second down. The Cowboys signal for their third and final timeout as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number one. And forthcoming, a field goal try for the Cowboys. From the right hash, it's a 35-yard return. And his kick was gone. And we have action on the scoreboard just before halftime. It's 3-0. So a nice drive on the road. You come in, you take the ball down, you get 3 points.
Yeah, points are a must on an opening drive, right? So they moved it down efficiently, got it done. I think that bodes well for their chances moving forward in this one.
So now much time to speak of. It's first half as the kicks away. Takes it with the center. And beyond the 20, but not by much. In fact, it's just a yard past the end of the 21. So here come the Seahawks now for their first drive. And they're led out by their mobile quarterback out of West Virginia. It's Geno Smith.
As I remember, in 2013, when he was drafted out of West Virginia, he's come up with back-to-back 4,000 seasons for the Mountaineers. Hadn't seen as much game time in recent years, but at one point, a kid from a starter in the NFL.
He'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. So we've reached time here with the visiting Cowboys out on top. As we'll send you eastward to Orlando. Standing by with that EA Sports halftime report now is Jonathan Coachman. Take it away, Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome, everyone, to this abridged version of the EA Sports halftime report. First, though, let's get a check on the next-gen stats from that first half for the Cowboys. And it was a tricky half to figure out numbers-wise. They've gotten leads, but you figure they're definitely talking about ways to get this passing game back on track. Meanwhile, for the Seahawks, we check on their numbers on the ground in the first half, as they know they'll need to be better to overcome this halftime deficit.
Okay, Coach, your adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. These offenses seemingly stood back at the hotel for the first half. 3-0 on score as the second half gets underway. By a yard or two deep, here comes a return. And in hindsight, probably should have taken knees. He only gets this out to the 16-yard line. Seattle's offense coming back onto the field, ready for their second drive. And Charles, we've seen almost 3 full quarters now, and neither offense can really get it going. Neither has hit the end zone, and neither side seemingly can make that big play.
But the game hasn't been devoid of action because these two defenses, they've taken over and they've slugged it out. I think you're exactly right. We're at that stage of the game now. One of these offenses, if they make a big play, that could be the difference.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
We're seeing these defenses making opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around and making plays on the ball. And we see yet another errant throw as a result.
Third quarter on a Monday night with a 2nd and 10 coming on. Throwing now is Gino. And that's incomplete.
They have to like what they've done defensively here at the outset of this drive. They forced a couple of incomplete passes, bring up a 3rd and 10. Don't be surprised to bring a little pressure on this snap.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. Gino now throw. The Bears are going to come up empty on this first drive with the second half, still down by that slim margin.
Yeah, and that's okay. You know, when you sit and analyze it, they're not happy about what happened, having to go to the bench. But this gives them a chance to let their defense do some work while they on the sidelines go over what they're doing offensively and formulate a proper plan.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is set away. And they can't bring him down. It'll be a 44-yard punt. The return gives for and the Big Boys to take over the football with a 1st and 10. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half. Their defense has pitched the shutout. Now they probably need to deliver a little breathing room, maybe make it a 2-score game as they've got a 1st and 10. Oh, they go with a tight end carry. And he's up across midfield and down into Seattle territory. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. On second and 1, you'll find Ryan. That's complete. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. And that's going to leave them with just 1 time remaining still in the 3rd quarter. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them. We'll be back. A first down kick. The defense will bring in 3rd and final timeout. And as the two teams talk about their respective sidelines, we take a break. Here's 2nd and 9. Now Prescott. Open up and that'll wind up moving the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the Seahawks 27-yard line. Here as we wrap up the week of Monday. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. Back now in Seattle, Washington. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a few minutes separating these two teams as we get set for the 4th quarter. The Victories take an aim. Prescott, he goes down to a knee, and that should just do it.
Brent, I can just tell you from experience, there's nothing like pitching a shutout on defense, but even more so when it's a tight game. I mean, like every defensive play is crucial, and you don't give up any points. Boy, they're going to feel confident about themselves after this one.
Yeah, exactly. The offense wasn't coming, but hey, all they needed was you can't score 1 point. All they needed was 2 points. You can't score 2 points on offense. All they needed was at least 3. They got what they needed.
They got what they needed. Exactly right.
So this one will end in a victory for the Dallas Cowboys. And not all W's are created equal, CD. And this one came in shutout fashion.
Well, their offense certainly didn't need to do anything, right? They could take the day off, and they did. For the defense, they carried them in a big way.
Yeah, look, the offense obviously stuff to work on, but they did enough, and the defense carried the load.
But you know what they say? It's always fun to work on things. If it didn't go well in your game, with a victory in your pocket. And that's what they've got going forward.
It's the NFL on EA Sports. And the question is, are you ready for some football? It's the Bills and the Bengals on Monday night.
From the banks of the Ohio River, there's a look at Cleveland Stadium here in Cincinnati. This crowd loves the orange and black. The scene just a short time ago. We're ready for football as the Bengals get set to do battle with the Buffalo Bills. Brandon Gardner alongside my good friend Charles Davis. Charles, what the matchup here? It's a good one. Josh Allen of the Bills, Joe Burrow of the Bengals.
And you talk about 2 young quarterbacks with exceptional skill sets that we believe are ascending. I think that each is on their they may be headed towards pro, maybe even MVP status. They have to carry their team.
Government official ready to get this going as we are right now from Telegram Stadium. This feet right up the goal. And he brings us out past the 22-24. The Buffalo offense coming out, and it is Josh Allen who's at the helm.
And in this league, there are many quarterbacks who have the most success running the ball, while there are others with big arms. There are so many guys who can do both at the end of many games. This guy leads his team not just in passing, but in rushing as well.
Now the first carry for Devin Singletary. And it worked this forward for about 3 at second down.
Yeah, it's exactly a win-win, but if you're then you'll take that caliber run. Right? It was kind of stepped up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
A play fake to Singletary, and now it's Allen. It's scored by Gabriel Davis. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds.
I do have to admit, I like it when it all comes together. When the top part, catching the football, right? Whether you're catching it with your hands or cradling it, comes together with the legs. In this case, the feet did a little toe tap to stay in bounds and complete the catch.
Great job, Larry. Through on the camera shot. Love when you see the grass or the field turf, those rubber pellets flying up. Great catch. So they fake the handoff. Now Allen. They'll end this deep for Davis. And he's caught at the 10-yard line. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line. We're scoreless to one. The Bills will as we start quarter number two. As they go to work on a first and goal. Allen now looks to throw. Dancing is get into the end zone from the floor touchdown. Josh Allen, a 10-yard touchdown run. And the Bills take it all the way down the field and score on the opening drive.
And that touchdown gives them a touchdown lead before they attempt the extra point. What a great way to end the half.
And a great job to put themselves in front. And now, see on the sideline, special teams defense scrambling, saying we want to preserve this for the final moments of this second period. That little line to kick the extra point. And it's 7-0 Buffalo. Just a 4-play drive that time. And it was Josh Allen using his legs to polish things off. After the touchdown pass to kick it away. Here comes the return for just being the ground. Done a nice job there on special teams to limit him to inside the 15 as he's dropped it to 14. We're the Bengals on offense, and here is Joe Burrow ready to lead them at quarterback.
And his task in this situation is making sure that his team knows that there's a sense of urgency, yet somehow still stays calm. Because your natural impulse, your first possession is not until the second quarter, is you got to attack right away. Throw something big at them right away. Yeah, you got to move the ball, but maybe be a little bit careful in doing so.
Yeah, he's going to have a first down. So field goal range at the 28. Now a timeout called for by the offense as the clock will stop with 45 seconds to go in the first half. Throwing now, Burrow on first down. Escaping the pressure lane. They'll have first down. That's the field. The Bengals second or timeouts as the clock will stop with 37 seconds to play in this first half. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Now it's Burrow. And they catch me. It's down the line. That's midfield, just a yard or two shot the 40.
Well, certainly doesn't have just been to the air on this play. I think what's going on with this defense, in a sense, they've been AWOL on this drive so far. 3 plays, 3 first downs given up. They've got to find answers, and they've got to find them quick.
Oh, he'll let one get deep for Higgins. And they overshot him there. It's out of bounds, incomplete.
There is something to a game plan with trying to keep a defense honest. When a guy with that type of speed, you do so. Sit him deep, try to throw some air under it, and hope you connect downfield. On that play, they were unsuccessful.
So with 4 seconds to go in, here's the field goal unit onto the field. This will be spotted just shy of midfield. A 59-yard attempt. It's only 20 points, no good. He had it on line, but it came up just shy of the crossbar. So we've reached halftime with just the lone touchdown here. 7-0 is our score. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach.
Okay, right, Brandon. Thanks very much. And welcome in, everyone, to this slimmed down version of the EA Sports halftime report. First, though, let's get a check on the next-gen stats from that first half for the Bills. And it was a tricky half to figure out numbers-wise. They've got the lead, but you figure they're definitely talking about ways to get this passing game back on track.
Okay, Coach, thanks as always. This one's still anyone's game as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. The Bucs set to get the football first, and they train here as we get started in the second half. From a couple yards deep, we'll bring it in the zone. And no Allen will be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. The Bengal offense now with a football first here to begin quarter number 3. And they do trail, but they have a chance to possess the football first to try and do something about it.
And that certainly makes it something of an important drive for them, because is it going to win the game? No, but you have to do something to bring some life to your sideline.
And he goes nowhere. He'll lose yardage back at the 17. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up second and 11.
This defense is just flat getting after it. They have not given up much of anything in the run game. Case in point right there.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a second and 11. Now Burrow. This goes out right for Mixon. And he works it across the 25 before being tackled.
Another catch for him there in this drive, Brandon. It looks like they're going to utilize it on the backfield any way they can. At any time they pick up the first down. So now on defense, you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going.
They're not going to get to the line and run another play. So we will switch in as the third quarter has come to a close. More to this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Throwing, Burrow. That's compared to Higgins. He'll be taken right on the chip at a 35. They haven't heard much from him today. Look at that play. They just touch his feet in a big way.
They kept him under wraps. The point that he had great time to bust down.
First down now, but that clock rolling. Now Burrow. So it's still on. And taking it across the field and just shy of 40. Now the Bengals going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds left to go. The drive continues as they search for a tying touchdown. Here's first and 10. Throw. To Mixon. The Bengals going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in the game. From the 37, they work on second and 6. And here's Brown. Only 7 seconds. That is getting the first down as the tackle made at the Bills' 13-yard line. Now the Bengals going to signal for their third and final timeout as they'll step only 17 seconds to go in the game. From the 13 now, they work in first and 10. To throw, Brown. And he can't get a throw away. He's second down. That one will settle back nearly 10 yards here on first down sack. And it's never going to take a sack. You really don't want to take one down here in this part of the field, down near the red zone.
Not at all, because you're already pretty much short of a field goal. But you take a big sack, it could put you out of range, and that's why defenses get a little more aggressive in this situation. They're almost conceding the 3 points. They want to push you back and try and take you out of that.
So it's a victory here for the Buffalo Bills, and not all W's are created equal, CD, and this one came in shutout fashion.
Well, their offense certainly didn't need to do anything, right? They could take the day off, and they did. But the defense, they carried them in a big way.
Yeah, the offense, obviously stuff to work on, but they did enough, and the defense carried the load.
But you know what they say, it's always fun to work on things. If it didn't go well in your game, with a victory in your pocket. And that's what they've got going forward.
NFL 22 on EA Sports. And tonight's clash of conferences is just moments away. It's the Birds and the Broncos on Monday Night Prime Time.
We find ourselves at the foot of the Rockies, Denver. Sports. And again through a shower. Was taking a few minutes and gets set to do that with the Philadelphia Eagles. Randy Gardner alongside the broadcast partner Charles Davis and CD Aconis taking center stage here for each of their respective offenses. Jalen Hurts and Russell Wilson.
And I think each quarterback wants to play this game with a faster tempo. They want to get the plays in quickly, get in and out quickly, take just a few seconds of the line of scrimmage and survey the defense. And the defense, I think that we'll see the offenses trying to do that in this one.
Take it in at the 3. Good coverage there on special teams as he'll get him down, shot at the 20. Phillies offense getting ready, and Jalen Hurts ready to lead them. The second-round pick who started his career at Alabama, then finished with an electric senior season at Oklahoma.
Tremendous production in college at 2 different universities, and this is a guy who was a finalist for a Heisman Trophy. Still much more a runner than a thrower, but has plenty of that, and is capable of making the big throws downfield. But don't underestimate his ability to think the game. Remember, he's the son of a coach.
And he'll take this beyond the line of scrimmage as he slides to a hole. 40 is the result of the first play from scrimmage. Second down.
Now, that play, he took a possible negative and turned it into positive usage and slid down to avoid taking a big shot. Excellent job getting down and avoiding the big hit.
Maybe in the 24. No score after one on EA Sports. Start the second quarter, and it's the Eagles in possession. This defense looking for this is the sense. Throwing from the gun, it's Hurts. He's going deep for Hawkins. But it's in good game. Took a shot, couldn't fail.
The concept, but you got to leave a little room on the sideline so he can fade into it when he makes the catch. That was thrown too close to it for the receiver to make a play.
He was there and sip on the sound, got a cut on third down. They'll send us around the Rocky Mountain 98 to go. And a fair catch call for him made just inside the 35 yard line. So here the Broncos now for their opening game. He called 38 yards on the pick on return. And the Broncos take over first down and 10. So they'll come up first and 10 now from the 33. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. He's getting 60 receiver. That's 2 Patrick. Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 45 seconds to go in the first half. From the 41, Wilson. And that's the team. Number 18 again. The Broncos going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 50 seconds remaining in this first half. Well, throw on first down with Wilson. Man, he's going to go and see. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite. Such a looking for you got one of those guys who can play on the perimeter, can play on the line, who could not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches. Again, Wilson. Open man to get it. He's going to get those with authority. Now a timeout. 7 seconds left in the first half. So even though it's first down, here's a field goal unit out there trying to get free before halftime. On the left hash mark, this a 43-yard attempt. And McManus up with the throw. And the Broncos, the first to grace the scoreboard. It's 3-0. So our initial drive of the night ends in 3 points. Maybe not exactly what the show front line, but they'll take the early lead.
They will take it. You're exactly right. Everyone wants a touchdown. But in this case, good opening drive, put points on the board. And a lot of coaches do believe the first team to score in the game, statistically, confidence up the winner.
So with 3 seconds remaining in the half, they will run to keep this one away. This one field to fun. So we're at time here in Denver with the Broncos leading this one. As we send you on out to our studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome in everyone to an abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. First things first, let's get a check on the next-gen stats from that first half for Philadelphia. And the rushing numbers should tell the story of why they trail at the half. They're still in single digits in yardage as a team through 2 quarters of play. That's not good. Meanwhile, for the Broncos, you get a look at what they were able to do throwing the football. And whatever they've done, it's worked, as they have the lead through 2 quarters of play.
All right, Coach, thanks. Yeah, both teams likely to make some changes in what's been a closely fought battle to this point. Broncos with a lead, and they will be receiving this kickoff here as quarter 3 is underway. Will return it's Washington. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. So now the second drive offensively coming up for the Denver Broncos. Both of these defenses have been stifling these last few drives offensively, just not able to get anything going. So what needs to change?
And a lot of the guys will go back and review, so to speak, because everyone has someone assigned to how did each play work. Okay, what do we use that kind of worked for us during this game? Try and get back to some of those plays, as well as the possibility of showing something you haven't shown already in this game and trying to change things up.
See if they take the advice of Mr. Davis. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Williams. And he's got a good gain of 7 up to the 37. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. And that's going to leave him with just 1 time remaining still in the 3rd quarter. We'll see if that comes back to haunt him. We'll be back. So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. Now a handoff. Here's Williams. And get this one across the 35 before he's brought down. Now the defense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. And as the 2 teams talking over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. Now Wilson on 1st down. Looking to play.
It gave them a few first downs on this drive, but getting the completion there, that should give them something to build on and maybe turn the tide.
Good action to this point in the third quarter. Just a 3-point game. 2nd and 10. Now Wilson. And that is incomplete.
But listen, when you get the lead, there's absolutely no sense trying to get you should. You can see the coaching in his head taking place on that play because he saw he had a receiver in the area and just put it well over his head out of harm's way.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. To throw is Wilson. He's going to drop to him down the Gordon. And he has another first down as he'll get the ball. And he gets 29-yard line. Catch him. Oh, they talked about that. They look like a different team here with their
Trash cans get kicked over that type of a speech. I think what they did was they analyzed what worked in the first half, what didn't, figured out a better game plan.
The week. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome to Denver. Been a very highly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the fourth quarter. The win for the Broncos. Go down.
Brent, I can just tell you from experience, there's nothing like pitching a shutout on defense, but even more so when it's a tight game. I mean, when every defensive play is crucial and you don't give up any points, they're going to feel awfully good about themselves after this one.
Yeah, exactly. The offense wasn't coming, but hey, all they needed was you can't score 1 point. All they needed was 2 points. You can't score 2 points on offense. All they needed was at least got what they needed.
They got what they needed. Exactly right.
So this one will wind up a Denver victory. And not all W's are created equal, CD. And this one came in shutout fashion.
Well, their offense certainly didn't need to do anything, right? They could take the day off, and they did. But the defense, they carried them in a big way.
Yeah, look, the offense, obviously stuff to work on, but they did enough, and the defense carried the load.
But you know what they say? It's always fun to work on things. If it didn't go well in your game, put the victory in your pocket. And that's what they've got going forward.
It's Madden NFL 22 on EA Sports, and tonight's clash of conferences is just moments away. It's the Chiefs and the Vikings on Monday.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the Rams U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. It can certainly get loud for seconds, but just a few minutes ago, get like shaking in there. They're set for football as the Vikings get ready to do it with the Kansas City Chiefs. So many new results around the quarterback position. We've got an interesting pairing here. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs, Kirk Cousins of the Vikings, and both of them terrific ability to improvise, and that means when the first rate's not there,
Can you go through your motions? Can you see? Can you body type them? Somebody can you on if need be? I think we'll see those traits on display in this one.
Here's the kicker, Harrison Bunker, ready to get this one started. And we underway from downtown Minneapolis. And he's only going to make it to the 13-yard line and no further. Under center for the Vikings, out comes the former Michigan State Spartan and longtime veteran Kirk Cousins.
And one nice thing you can always say about Kirk Cousins is that he's consistent. Always puts up nice numbers each and every year. If there is a downside to his game, it's been the lack of playoff success. All in all, though, formidable starting quarterback at a time in the league where it's tough to find your franchise guy.
On 1st and 10, Cousins. And incomplete to open things up.
No sense risking anything there on first down, even though he's in the pocket. He had a receiver to his side, so just put that in a spot where the only people that make a play on it are the trainers and the coaches. Well done.
Here's 2nd and 10. Throwing, Cousins. That's caught by the Smith Jr. So they still get the completion, even though the blitz was up and the blitz kept there. Does that stay in the mind of the quarterback for the next couple of plays?
That's what you're hoping for. That's what you're planning for. It's a little risk reward, right? You're leaving your guys on an island back there in man coverage, but you take the chance that you get to the quarterback, and so he gets completion here. Congratulations. Keep coming at it, and hopefully it pays off by the end of the game that you're starting to get to him while still able to cover on the back end.
And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being down 2nd and right at a yard.
And that's pretty early on. It doesn't take a great play call to realize you don't establish a guy of his caliber who runs up this early because they will pay dividends as the game progresses.
Here's 2nd and a yard. Cousins gives way to Cook. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. They're scoreless after 1. Second quarter now from Minnesota. It's the Vikings in possession of the football as they've got it with a 3rd down coming up. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. A beautiful fade. And he brings this up to the 36, getting up for the first. Now a timeout called for by the offense as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. Couple of first downs to kick off the drive. Here's 1st and 10 up at the 46. From the gun, here's Cousins. And that's incomplete. The incompletion, yes, but maybe here not the worst thing in the world.
No, 1st and 10. Actually gives them a chance to regroup, relax just a little bit. They huddle up, talk it over. Then they get a chance to continue their drive.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Working out of the gun, Cousins. That's complete to Kingsley Osborne. The Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. Could we get a touchdown in this first half after all? It's 1st and 10. To throw, Cousins. That's complete to Justin Jefferson. And again, as he gets it down to the 30 there.
If you run an out route, it's likely you're going to get near the sideline. And what did we just see there? Okay, you got it. The benefits of practice. Toe tapping, foot dragging, picking it up, and making sure it was a catch.
They'll throw again. Cousins. And this one right back in the hands of Jefferson. And inside the 20 before he's put down. We forget that the one to set up the pass. They're just coming out and throwing.
Forget trying to set anything up. They feel like they have the advantage. They feel like they have the matchups, and they're just attacking right now.
They're going to the air on the opening drive. First down now, but that clock rolling. The Vikings going to use their third and final timeout. As they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number one. Now the Vikings will send out the special teams crew here for a field goal try. It's a 56-yard attempt. The kick by Joseph is good. So the first points of the night teams will take the kickoff and skip 3 points now. Absolutely.
Watching this game, they move the ball up. They drive.
So not much time to speak of. Remaining in its first half as the kicks away. Here's Mecole Hardman. A good coverage there on special teams as they'll get him down shy of the 20. The KC offense set to go led as always by the gunslinger, former MVP in this league. It's Patrick Mahomes.
And simply put, for many, he's the gold standard for quarterbacks in today's NFL because of his ability to create, find the open man, use all the different options that he has. He's a complete package, and boy, his team loves to play around him.
Now he's going to run it here up the middle. And he'll be taken down by the face mask, it appeared. And yes, out come the flags. So they'll get the yardage on the run and get 15 more for good measure.
Yeah, that wasn't too difficult to spot. The flags came out almost immediately.
Now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. To throw, it's Mahomes. It's in the throw, intercepted. 35, and he will be out of bounds with no time remaining. It will be the final action of this first half.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome, everybody, to our abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. First, though, a check of the next-gen stats in that first half for Kansas City. And there's not a whole lot that's next-gen about these numbers. 0 total yards passing as a club in the first half. That will not win you many football games. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, they too have found passing lanes to be hard to come by so far. As you see by the numbers, they'll need to figure that out in the second half.
Okay, Coach. Yeah, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. These offenses seemingly stood back at the hotel for the first half. 3-0 our score as the second half gets underway. It was hardly on the return. And nice return sets him up pretty good here, right at the 50-yard line. Set to take over, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And he's had some time to chew on that interception he threw on his last drive back in the first half.
Well, normally we say, not get right back out on the field and play again, right? But as you mentioned, had the time, had to stew back a little bit. Maybe he'll have a chance to relax a little time to try to let it go.
I hope to respond positively here to start the third quarter. So the completion good for 6 yards. And it'll be second down.
Come down low for me there, partner. I think we're on the same page of now. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's a start. But then trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
From the 36, Mahomes. It's Kelsey on the ground. Oh boy, hang tight here. Down on the field, Juju Smith-Schuster. And everybody on that sideline holding their breath. We'll check on his status when we get back. I see an extra defensive back on the field. Little surprise here on 3rd and 1. Edwards around. They'll try to run for it. And he's got the first down yardage as he brings this up to the 47. So they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this third quarter. We'll return with more to this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Mahomes. They're quickly to Kelsey. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. Chiefs. First down now, but that clock rolling. Mahomes is home. Madden, but that's not Chris Valuable Skipling. The Chiefs now going to use the first of their timeouts as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this fourth quarter. Here's Mahomes. Now a swing pass. It's Edwards-Helaire. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 26. Mahomes. And this will be long too long for him to bring in. And it's incomplete. He was able to complete it. It's not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark really start to finish.
It makes you wonder what exactly he's doing right now. And is he a little bit dinged up here? Or is he just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation.
Second and 10. Mahomes. He can't get going. He's taking that. Huge play at this point in the game. The Chiefs quickly now going to use the rest of their timeouts. As it's stopping with 11 seconds remaining in the ball game. So on fourth down, some for the Chiefs field goal. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their 10 outs. Leaving the two remaining. Be back after this. So on fourth down, some for the Chiefs field goal. It's going to take us. Down. And it's not good. And it's well, they got themselves in position where Alexander was hitting the thoughts of the overtime as it turns out it was not meant to be, Charles. And you feel bad for kicking this, but he's going to have to shoulder a lot of the blame in reality. This is a real team, guys. They didn't do enough to look to get the job done. Cousins is going to take this one down to a million and so the final seconds have ticked away. Let's see the victory. W's are for you on April CD, and this one came in showing fashion. The offense didn't need to do anything. Right? You could take the game. They did. And the defense, they carried them. Defense, obviously, stuck to work on. They did. Defense carried the load. You know what they say? It's always fun to work on things. If it didn't go well in your game, with a victory in your pocket. And that's what they've got going forward.